We cannot build the future for youth, but we can build our youth for the future. The famous words of former US President Franklin D. Roosevelt. We have come a long way from the 1930s and 40s whenever he was in office, but recently we have been experiencing quite a lot of political turbulence.
Some of the comments from the interviews are just so
US battle where we are. Belfast, here we are.
However, this film isn't a chance for me to roast Donald Trump, Theresa May or Stormont to the point that they're burnt. It's solely based around young people and politics. They can have a big influence on any society, ours or across the world. However, stereotypes and underestimations currently surround those aged 16 to 25, and one of the biggest indicators of this will be the fact that 16-year-olds don't have the right to vote.
There's this perception that young people are trouble. They are hooligans, they are disaffected, they don't really care, they're sort of detached from society and they can't really be trusted. And I would want to, correct that assumption.
I think 16-year-olds should be allowed to vote because a lot of the decisions, especially with schools and universities, end up affecting them, but they have no say in it because usually it takes 2 years for the law to pass, and by that point it's going to affect them.
An awful lot of teachers and parents will be like, oh, you're 14, what do you know? You don't have an opinion on this, whenever it's something that actively affects them.
A lot of young people know more about what's going on and what could actually better the future and which party will help better the future than a lot of adults. It should be lowered at this point.
It definitely, it was sort of like old people deciding young people's future for them.
I feel like the idea of voting at 16 should be allowed, as 16-year-olds these days have a much clearer vision of what their city or their country needs and wants.
At 16, you're already paying adult fares on buses, you're already being treated like an adult in every other respect of your life. You've made your decisions for GCSEs, you've picked your A levels or going to tech. These are massive decisions that impact the rest of your life. And if you were able to make those at 16, why can't you choose who you're going to vote for?
So, just to make it clear, after my next birthday, I can legally have sex, order my own passport, rent accommodation, play the lottery or win it, apply for legal aid, pay prescription charges, drive a car. I can even get married, but I can't vote.
There's a fantastic quote from an anonymous young person in this organisation, which is, at 16, you can marry your MLA, but you can't vote for them.
16, you're just you're around your mid-formative years, you're doing your GCSEs, you're choosing almost the path you're going to take in life, so I think you should also have a say in what politics and what politicians and what laws and bills will be set for you for your future.
In the wake of Brexit and the wake of the Scottish independence referendum, it's a more topical thing, it's more current. I think beforehand young people would have thought, well, I don't really want to vote if it's a local assembly election, or it's not going to make much of a difference. Whereas if you can say to somebody now who is 16 or 17 that your vote could have swayed the outcome of the Brexit referendum, they will be infuriated enough to action.
So I turned 18 just after the independence referendum, which was the first vote that they allowed to under 18s, 16-year-olds. So I was 17 and it felt really, really good to actually vote in it because I knew that if that hadn't gone through, half of my friends would have voted and it would have been really annoying. But in school, I just left school that year, so a lot of the 2 years below me, the school hosted debates and everyone got really, really engaged. So it really, really engaged young people, and schools and community groups really got the young people engaged as well. So that was really, really good to see on a sort of national level.
Some of you are probably thinking if 16-year-olds have the right to vote, they'll let it go to waste, they don't care. In 2016, the Brexit referendum was the biggest turnout for any British vote ever. So, did all or nearly all 46.5 million registered people to vote do so? If you said yes, you're incorrect. Around 13 million of those registered to vote failed to use the opportunity given to them. That's more than the populations of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland combined. An absolutely shocking and absurd figure for such an essential referendum. So how can 16-year-olds fix this problem?
If we were given the opportunity to vote, you would find that young people are very switched on, very aware that our current government, or lack thereof, doesn't really give us an awful lot of credit.
I do. I try to follow politics as much as I can. I hope and do politics and government for my A-levels, and I want to get into politics for my career.
Honestly, I think there should be a lot more education in politics in school.
We want to have votes at 16, but we are also advocating for, generally speaking, better political education for young people as well. You can't really have one without the other. So that was kind of the crux of our campaign, to sort of lobby for why young people do have the mental capacity to be able to make that decision, but how to help young people make that decision more informed.
It was never kind of shown as something for someone who's younger to have been interested in. Any time it's mentioned in schools, it's mentioned as something you'll do when you're older.
To incorporate political education into the LLW and citizenship curriculum would definitely increase political engagement and voter turnout, because once you make it something that people know about and are interested about personally, and if you make it relate to their lives and their issues, then people will care and they'll come out to vote because it will affect them directly. I just don't think they know that yet.
You'd need to have political education associated with an introduction of votes at 16 on like a national level, because the main argument against it is like, oh, young people don't know what they're voting for. But if you're going to educate them on how politics works, like how Westminster Stormont, all of that works, then they'll know much better and how political parties work.
We need properly politically educated voters, shown out to America, who can be relied upon to vote in elections, local or general. We need to start education early for young people in order for them to understand rights, laws, ideologies and political parties. And we need to tackle the idea that young people don't deserve or can't handle the right to vote. That's a lie, and it will damage all of us in the long run.
It would give young people a much bigger platform than they have already to kind of make a change, like a very direct change.
So, what can you do? Well, 1. Write to your local MP or MLA and tell them how important it is for young people to vote. Secondly, talk to your young friends and family and see how politically engaged they are. 3. Follow the campaign for Votes at 16 if you believe that young people have the right to vote and have a say in their future, and follow #VotesAt16 for more information. Thank you for listening to the young people in this film. Long may it continue.
All the things that species failed to achieve.